Okay, so clouds are next, and we need to really look at this color. You might think you could just do white, but that is not white. It's a sort of a peachy color. There it is. So we're gonna spend some time mixing, and this is what I came up with for the cloud color. And I'm actually going to try to apply it with this palette knife because the edges are so sharp and rounded. I think this might look better than a brush. And I'll give that a shot and we'll see what that looks like. Okay, so you can see the tops of the clouds are really smooth. We don't really want to use a brush for that. We're going to use our palette knife to make sure they stay really smooth. Now you can see I did the rest of it with a brush and I swirled it around. That's fine, but those edges need to be really sharp. So I'm going to go back in and get those. And then you can go ahead and blend out the rest. That's fine. Okay, now that we've got the basic big cloud shape in there, we want to add the next darkest tone of that cloud. So we're going to take the very same batch of paint that we mixed up for this light peachy color, and we're going to add just enough dark tone to make these middle tones, like, I'm sorry, it keeps going out of focus, like this guy right here, kind of this one right here that's a little bit darker. And so we're going to add probably just a little bit of purple to that. So there's my original batch, my original cloud color. I'm just going to darken that up a little bit. Okay, I've got a mid-tone mixed up here. It's not great. I don't think this is quite exactly what I wanted, but we're going to lay it down anyway and see what it looks like. And I'm just going to apply this in the same way with the palette knife. Let me get my reference picture here. So I just want to make big shapes with sharp edges. So same kind of way. And I'll leave this color in the background where it shows up on here. And I'll check back in with you when I get some of these shapes laid in. Okay, I know I said we weren't gonna put plain white in the clouds because that plain white doesn't exist, but I don't like the way this looks. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add white to various areas on this cloud and see if that helps things. Okay, my darker paint is still a little bit wet, so it's actually kind of blending with the white. I'm not sure if I love it, but it might be okay. I'm not sure. We might just call these clouds a learning experience and move on to the next section. Okay, it's not great, but it's not terrible. I'm gonna move on and focus on this bit of pink cloud here. So I kind of laid down a foundation of the peachy color, and I'm gonna go back over that and make this into the pink, and then get some nice grayish purple up in here for these clouds. Okay, that's not too bad. I just kind of did a horizontal brushing this way and then went over the top with a little bit of swirling on the brush. And then I'm just gonna kind of blend out the bottom and just bring it down. That's gonna be painted over anyway, so it doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, now I'm going to get in this bank of clouds here, and I'll probably start with this lighter sort of gray purple. Do all the clouds in that color, then I'll darken it up and go back over the top, the dark areas. Okay, I've got a nice big pile of that grayish purple that I think goes pretty well with this color right here. That's the one I'm trying to match. And like I said, I'm gonna do that color all over this cloud bank, then go back with the darker. So I'm gonna use the same technique I used in the rest of the sky. Pick up quite a bit of that paint. And then just kind of swirl it over the top And I need to go look at my reference picture to make sure I'm getting these things in the right spot. Okay, there's like the entire darker cloud bank up front. And now I'm going to darken up the same puddle of paint I had here and go ahead and add in those darker tones that you see. Now, if you remember from those color wheels I had you do that you probably thought were a waste of time, I remember from doing mine that this Nick Pro brand of purple is really weak. It's not as strong as other brands of purple, not as strong as you would expect a purple to be. So I've added quite a lot of it into this puddle of paint, and I'm probably going to need more. I may even need to tone it with some yellow, remember complementary opposites, which will darken it up, or even some black, because it's really struggling to get to that darker purple that's in the sky. So I will keep adding to this and mixing it up until I get that color matched. Okay, I think I've got that color right there, pretty close to the dark purple that's in the sky. Close enough anyway that I'm happy with it. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in. So here it is with the darker layer, and you can see in the picture some of that purple actually goes up into the lighter cloud bank. So I'm just going to push some of that up in there. I'm kind of doing swirls. It's not exactly what they did in the original painting, but I mean, it's working. It's definitely going to be a different kind of painting than theirs, but that's all right. We're not here to copy anyway. It's just inspiration. So I'll just keep kind of pulling this around and probably pick up a couple of different tones in here just to make sure everything stays kind of separate. I'm just going to go ahead and pick up just some white without washing my brush. It's still full of purplish color. And I'm just kind of patching this in, not over everything, just in random places. And I'm just going to keep blending it out. That's not really what's in the picture, but I think that extra dimension makes it look more realistic. So I'm just going to work this around in different places and then kind of blend it out at the bottom. And that's making kind of a nice look, I think. Okay, I'm pretty satisfied with that overall. I think it resembles the original enough. The only thing that I want to make sure of is the cloud edges in the picture are really sharp. Normally in most paintings, you just blend that out into the sky. You don't really care about keeping it sharp. But in this particular painting, these things are really sharply defined. So I'm going to go back over these areas where it's kind of broken and choppy. And I'm just going to go back over with my fine brush and just define those edges. So like especially over here, I want to just get in there and just really sharpen up those edges. And then the rest of the cloud, it doesn't matter. I've got this kind of broken mixed color. That's fine. That looks nice. I just want to make sure that edge gets really sharp in there. Okay, I've sharpened up the edges and then kind of re-blended everything in so there's no really harsh lines within the clouds. But I've got that sharp edge on the top. This is not my favorite thing I've ever done, but I mean, it's okay. And everything's a learning experience anyway, whether you succeed or not. So now I'm going to take this extra dark purple here and a fine brush, and I'm just gonna run some of those clouds through everything that I've already painted. I'm not gonna worry about it drying. It's fine if it smears in there just a little bit. So you can see I've taken part of my purple paint that was over here, pulled it aside, and I've actually mixed straight black into it and got this very dark color. That's what I'm going to use for those tiny clouds. Okay, I did the first one off camera because I was really nervous about it, but I think I'm doing all right. So the trick to this is to start your cloud, push, pull, push back down, twist if you start to run out of paint, and pull up, and then you can get that wispy end. So it's all about the way you handle your brush, and I'm holding it way up the handle there so it can kind of just drag along and twist and move. And I think that's probably your best bet as far as technique. Okay, I think that's all right. If you want to add more or less than what they have in the reference picture, that's fine. I am going to add any extra little details I might see just in the sky, just from here up. Any other little things I might want to add or tweak or fix, then we're going to let that dry overnight before we tackle this foreground.